And here it comes, one of the great traditions in college football.
My foot on the pedal, my eyes on the crown. We on a whole nother level. Oh, we back. Okay,
this is gonna be a war.
We back. Okay. Bigger than ever, we back.
You want to know what real college football sounds like?
Bigger than ever, we back.
The final Saturday in September features 4 ranked matchups, including number 13 Ole Miss hosting 4th-ranked LSU in the Magnolia Bowl at 3:30 on ABC. Staying on ABC at 7:30, number 17 Alabama and 5th-ranked Georgia meet in Athens as the Bulldogs put their 33-game home win streak on the line. The mouth of the South joins the show right now, the one and only Paul Finebaum. Which head coach can least afford a loss on Saturday, Paul?
I think that's James Franklin, and I realize he still has Ohio State, but there's so much pressure on him after what happened last year in the Orange Bowl when they literally blew that game to Notre Dame. And this is at home. It's a whiteout. Stephen A., you know all the particulars. Drew Aller hasn't won a game like this, and I think for James Franklin to have a really great rest of the season, many people believe he has the best team in the country. It certainly looks like it on paper, but they played a couple of cupcakes so far. This is a must-win because if you lose this game, then all the pressure loads up on the Ohio State game. And then if you can't win that game, you might still sneak in the back door to the playoffs. But although I would argue, I'm not sure why.
Yeah, it's Coach DeBoer at Alabama for me. Number one, they're 2-5 on the road under Coach DeBoer, and the way that they have looked in those losses with lack of energy, lack of focus, lack of fundamentals, bringing the juice, that's a big deal. 2, Kirby Smart has struggled with one team, Alabama. And so this is like kind of the opportunity for you to have the advantage. And then 3, if Alabama loses, I'm not saying that they're out of the college football playoff, but they're out of the college football playoff. And then the expectation, the noise, the conversation will be very heavy in Tuscaloosa.
I'm gonna rephrase that for you. Kirby Smart struggled with Nick Saban.
Yes.
Right? Like that's who Kirby Smart struggled with, which is why it's so difficult on Coach DeBoer. I think it's James Franklin. I think that he is and has run thin a little bit in Penn State for not winning those big games. You also go out in the last couple of years, you get him big time coordinators. Yeah. And so for James Franklin, it's not about the X's and O's. You have coaches to do that. It's about having the best roster in the Big Ten and finding a way to go out and win it. And you haven't played anyone this year. If anybody's ever seen the whiteout, ever been in that stadium for these sorts of games, it's one of the best college atmospheres in all of the country. And if they don't show up and if they don't win after what they did against Notre Dame in the semifinals, I believe his seat will be as hot as any seat in the country.
I get where you're coming from. I'm going to go with Kalen DeBoer on this particular question because, damn it, all a loss is going to do is remind us how much they miss Nick Saban. And they're going to want his behind out of town. They know he's a good coach, but that don't mean he belongs there. That's where I'm going with it. Let's move on to Clemson, where Paul had a strong take on Dabo Swinney. Take a listen to this, y'all.
I think it's over at Clemson. Let's quit trying to sugarcoat it, Matt. Sometimes it's very difficult to get it back. When you've lost it, he lost it, he got it back. Now he's lost it again, and he's lost it badly. And it's time for him to go.
Dan, we'll go to you first before I even go to Paul Finebaum. Do you agree with him?
Shocker of a take right there, Mr. Finebaum. I disagree with them. I think that when you look at the makeup of this football team, I think part of the narrative around Clemson was the expectations created in the offseason, right? This is a team that a lot of people say, well, they got 3 first-round defensive linemen that are going to go. They've got a quarterback that is going to be the number 1 pick in Cade Klubnik. They've got 80+% of their offensive production back. And so, and rightfully so, I would sit there and go, a lot of the expectations around this football team were that they were going to be a national championship contender. And honestly, Cade Klubnik hasn't played like a top 5 pick. He hasn't played like a first-round quarterback in the least bit. Those defensive tackles, those defensive linemen, only one of them has performed in that way. So I would sit there and go like, there's still talent on the roster. It's just not performing to that level.
Paul Finebaum?
Well, listen, I wasn't suggesting he get fired. I was suggesting he either do one of 2 things. Goes to another school while he still can, or go into TV, which I think he would be very good at. But I don't like his future at Clemson. And the one thing I don't want to happen here, because of Dabo's greatness, he's won 2 national championships, he's played for the title countless times, I don't want to see Dabo Swinney, a Hall of Fame coach, end his career 5 years from now looking like Mike Gundy did on Tuesday afternoon, being pushed out the door after an amazing career. That's really my major point here.
Go ahead, RC.
Yeah, I think I agree with Paul on that. It's not about firing Dabo Swinney. Dabo Swinney has done too much at Clemson for him to be someone that you fire at this point of his career. But it's starting to get there, Paul. We're starting to have these conversations too often about Clemson underachieving, about Dabo Swinney not adjusting to the changing landscape in college football. And when you don't do that and you find yourself behind some of these teams and you enter this year with the level of expectations that they had because of the talent we perceived was on the Clemson roster, it is a coaching failure. If Cade Klubnik doesn't play to his level of expectation, that's on coaching. If the 80% of the talent that you are returning doesn't play to that level, that's on coaching. If defensively you can't stop Steve Angeli and the Syracuse Fighting Orangemen, that's on coaching.
So are you guys saying this is a Dabo move? Like, hey, Dabo, you get out? Or are you saying, Clemson, get ahead of it?
Here's what I want to say before passing it to Paul. My belief is this. When you look at Dabo Swinney, like RC said, resistant to the changing landscape of things. He, at his press conference the other day, was talking about, hey, you want to let me go, I'll just go someplace else. Well, wherever else you go, you're going to have to adapt to the changing landscape. So if you know you're going to have to adapt, why not do it where you're at? I think that's the conversation that you have to have with Dabo Swinney, but that's it. Paul, where do you stand on that?
Yeah, Dabo is still in very good shape at Clemson. No one, and I mean nobody, is pushing him out. But he has really hurt himself, Stephen A., by these comments. And entitlement only goes so far when you've been successful. And college football fans get very weary. And I think they are weary of him. And he's close to becoming a punchline. And I think that would be sad when you consider what he's accomplished. Let's not forget, 5 weeks ago, we were sitting right here, many of us, thinking he may have had the best team in the country.
Listen, Heather Dinich, who is an absolute genius when it comes to college football,
no doubt.
She was, when I was on Get Up, she straight up said, like, they have no chance, right? They're going to beat LSU to start the season. Now you see them lose to Georgia Tech. You lose to Syracuse. Like, this is the team that's not only underachieving, they're flat out bad. And we have to remember, they eked their way into the college football playoff last year by beating SMU by a great comeback and a huge kick.
I think you got to be very wary because there's a lot of programs that have moved on from the older coach or the coach that peaked or maybe wasn't performing, and then all of a sudden they spent a decade trying to find another coach. I think the second and the bigger question in relation to Dabo is, can he recruit the way that he did when they were in their heyday? Yeah. There's evidence that say he still can, and then there's evidence that says, why did we have the 26th ranked recruiting class in the country? Or is it a lack of internal development? Are there highly recruited players not becoming those top 10 picks?
This is what makes First Take special. With a Dan Orlovsky, even though he's dissecting and picking people apart, there's always a silver lining. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And you juxtapose that with Paul Finebaum, the epitome of gloom and doom. I mean, when he's talking about Dabo, you're wondering, when is Dabo leaving Clemson? Thanks a lot, Paul. Appreciate you. Love you, bro. Thanks so much. As a reminder, here are this week's college football featured games. 8th-ranked Florida State and Virginia square off tomorrow night on ESPN, and Saturday's SEC. Saturday's SEC on ABC lineup includes number 22 Notre Dame at Arkansas, 4th-ranked LSU at number 13 Ole Miss, and number 17 Alabama at 5th-ranked Georgia. You can always watch every game on the all-new ESPN app.
You want this, you got that. No way, watch them walk right past you. Run fast while you have the chance. Don't speak, let them look right at you.